Picture this. It's a Tuesday afternoon, your notifications are absolutely relentless, and you're staring at a digital calendar that looks less like a schedule and, well, more like a losing game of Tetris.
Oh, the block's just falling way faster than you can actually place them.
Right? Exactly. Or maybe it happens later for you. Maybe it waits for the quiet of 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, thinking about the latest headlines on artificial intelligence, and there's this heavy, quiet fear just sitting on your chest.
Yeah.
And it's not just a worry about your paycheck, it's deeper. It's this whisper asking, do I still matter? Like, is there an actual place for me in a world that increasingly operates like a flawless machine?
It is a deeply uncomfortable question to sit with, I mean, truly. But if you are feeling that right now, you need to know it is a completely valid, rational reaction.
Totally.
We are experiencing a profoundly human response to an economic system that has, for decades really, demanded we function like machines.
So true. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to episode 5 of our 11-part cinematic deep dive series, exploring Breeze Dong's profound book, A Soulful Transition, Finding Heart-Led Career in the Age of AI.
It's such a vital book for this exact moment we're in.
It really is. Today, we are immersing ourselves in Chapter 5, which is titled Right Livelihood 2.0, and our mission for this deep dive is clear. We are going to address that 3 a.m. fear directly.
We have to.
Right. We want to outline a map for you to find a career path that doesn't just, tolerate your humanity, but absolutely relies on it.
And the way the text frames this historical transition is just crucial for understanding why we feel so adrift. For so long, we've operated under what the author calls the company man deal.
Right, the classic trade-off.
Exactly. It was a purely transactional trade. You give the company your time and your compliance, and they give you money.
Yeah.
If you managed to find deep meaning or felt whole in your work, you were considered a lucky outlier.
Yeah, like hitting the career lottery.
But that era is rapidly closing. As AI becomes exponentially better at that transactional work, the coding, the data sorting, the pure execution, we are being forced out of the machine role.
Which is terrifying at first glance.
It is. But the book suggests we are actually being invited to return to something ancient.
Which brings us to this beautiful concept from Buddhist philosophy mentioned in the book, right livelihood, or samma ajiva.
Right. Historically, on the Eightfold Path, right livelihood was fairly straightforward. Earn a living without causing harm to the world.
Right, like no weapons, don't deal in poisons, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But the text proposes that today, we are entering right livelihood 2.0. It's no longer just a baseline of external ethics. It's about resonance.
Resonance. I love that word for this.
Yeah, it's about finding the specific frequency where your human soul actually sings. It asks us to fundamentally stop trying to compete with machines on speed and efficiency.
Because that's a game you will lose every single time.
Every time. Instead, you must find the work that only a human heart can do.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because shifting from efficient corporate machine to resounding human soul sounds amazing, but how do you and I actually get there on a Monday morning?
Right, we need a map.
We need a map. And the author points us to the island of Okinawa, Japan.
Yeah, Okinawa is home to some of the longest living, healthiest people on the planet. And when researchers study their longevity, the secret isn't just, a specific diet.
Right, it's not just the sweet potatoes.
No, it's this deeply embedded cultural framework called ikigai. It roughly translates to the happiness of always being busy.
Okay, but we have to be incredibly careful with that word busy, right? Because the Western interpretation usually ruins the concept entirely.
Oh, completely. It distorts it.
Because our version of busy usually means 4 overlapping Zoom calls, a massive stress headache, and skipping lunch.
Exactly. The Okinawan busy is the complete opposite of our frantic, cortisol-soaked corporate burnout.
So what does it actually look like?
It is the gentle, continuous engagement of a gardener tending to roses or a craftsperson shaping clay. It's the reason you want to get out of bed in the morning, because something in the world is calling your name.
And you actually have the space to answer it.
Exactly. And the Ikigai framework breaks this down into 4 overlapping circles. What you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for.
And in that old company man era, most of us were crammed into that bottom circle, right? Just doing what we could get paid for.
Yeah, and our lives felt completely fragmented as a result.
So to begin moving toward wholeness, we have to intentionally populate these circles. Let's look at circle 1, what you love. The text calls this entering the stream. We are looking for flow.
Flow is that state where you look up and 2 hours have passed, but it felt like 10 minutes.
Oh, I love that feeling.
It's the best. You aren't forcing the work, you are surfing it. It's those moments when you are listening deeply to a client or perhaps synthesizing messy, contradictory ideas into clarity, and time just evaporates.
I really appreciate the specific question the author poses for you to ask yourself here. When does your breath deepen at work? When do you feel most like you?
That is the core question.
Because an AI can instantly generate the sheet music,
Mm.
right? It can output the data perfectly, but it can't actually feel the joy of playing the instrument.
Right. It has no internal experience.
Exactly. It can't feel the thrill of a creative breakthrough or the warmth of a sudden human connection. If you love the quiet logic of coding, that is your flow. But if you love the messy connection of mentorship, you have to actively claim that.
That distinction is vital. Your love circle isn't some frivolous luxury you get to on the weekends anymore. In an AI-driven landscape, it is the actual fuel for your professional resilience.
Keeps you anchored.
Yes. Which leads us to circle 2, what you are good at. And this is a space where I think you, the listener, might be judging yourself far too harshly or misidentifying your skills entirely.
Oh, let's pause on good at, because I think this is a massive trap for anyone listening right now.
It really is.
Because in my experience, people often confuse what they've just survived doing for 10 years with what they are genuinely good at.
Well, absolutely.
For instance, you might be the go-to person in your office for fixing broken, chaotic spreadsheets. But that might just be a trauma response skill you developed to survive the toxic, disorganized workplace.
Yes.
So how do we stop confusing the fires we constantly put out with our unique human nuance?
That is such a profound trap the text warns us about.
Yeah.
Carrying the hose doesn't mean your life's purpose is to put out fires.
Wow, that's a great way to put it.
So, to differentiate true mastery from a trauma response survival tactic, the text introduces the Japanese concept of microflow.
Microflow.
Right. This is the practice of turning mundane, repetitive tasks into rituals of mastery. Think of a perfectly executed bow or a genuinely warm greeting. It is the attention you bring to the act, not just the act itself.
So it's about the way you do a thing, the presence you bring to it.
Exactly. To survive the AI transition, you don't need to be good at everything. You need mastery of human nuance.
Human nuance.
Yeah. The text asks you to look closer. Are you good at sensing the emotional temperature of a room before anyone even speaks? Are you skilled at weaving together highly conflicting viewpoints so that everyone feels heard?
Or, like, can you make people feel safe enough to finally tell the truth about a failing project?
Yes. And AI completely face plants when it comes to that stuff.
It really does. It cannot handle the unspoken. It cannot navigate messy human emotion or read a room.
Those are the skills of the conscious professional. If you can find microflow in how you listen, or how you write an email with genuine presence, rather than just conveying data, you are cultivating an irreplaceable mastery.
You become an artisan of your own career.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say I've found what I love and I'm cultivating this mastery of human nuance. If no one actually values that nuance, I'm just, playing in a sandbox.
True.
How do we make this matter to the outside world? That brings us to circle 3, what the world needs. This is where we build our absolute best defense and offense against the algorithm.
To understand what the world actually needs, the author contrasts 2 organizational paradigms, the orange corporate world and teal principles.
Orange and teal.
Yeah, these terms come from developmental sociology, where stages of human and organizational evolution are color-coded. The orange world is what most of us know.
Operating like a machine.
Right. It runs on rigid efficiency, strict hierarchy, aggressive deadlines, and pure profit extraction.
The losing game of Tetris we talked about. Orange dictates a rigid 5-day return-to-office policy just to track badge swipes and maintain control.
Precisely the mechanic.
Yeah.
But a teal organization operates like a living organism. It's based on evolutionary purpose and wholeness.
So what does that look like in practice?
It means that instead of a top-down mandate asking, how do we force this financial outcome to happen by Q3, a teal approach looks at the environment and asks, what is this project asking to become?
Oh, that's such a different question.
Right. It invites our intuition and our full messy selves to the table to solve complex problems adaptively.
And here's where the connection to AI gets really interesting. The text points out a massive, fundamental limitation of artificial intelligence when we look at these teal organizations.
Yes, the historical data problem.
Exactly. AI operates exclusively on historical data. It knows exactly what the world said. It predicts the next word based on billions of words written in the past. But AI cannot sense the future.
No, it cannot.
Yeah.
It cannot intuit that a specific team is starving for connection. It cannot feel that a company's culture is brittle and about to break under the pressure of a new product launch.
Right.
It has absolutely no capacity to feel the emergent shifts in collective consciousness. AI does not know what the world actually needs right now. It only knows what it needed yesterday.
So if AI is essentially the ultimate rearview mirror, perfectly reflecting the past, then teal presence is the headlights. It's your ability to sense what's coming next in the dark.
I love that analogy.
The world doesn't need more data processors. The algorithm has that covered. The text says what the world desperately needs are healers of culture.
Which aligns with a global movement mentioned in the book, the Inner Development Goals, or IDGs.
Clear development goals.
Yeah. We spend so much time talking about external goals, climate change, economic polarization, supply chain failures, but the IDGs argue that we cannot solve these external crises without fundamentally upgrading our inner skills.
So if we aren't focusing on external data and KPIs, are we talking about internal emotional regulation, things like empathy?
You're hitting on exactly the framework. The IDGs break down into areas like being, which encompasses authenticity and inner integrity.
Right.
There's relating, which covers empathy and humility. And collaborating, which is true, egoless co-creation. The text emphasizes that these are no longer soft skills you list at the bottom of a resume.
They are the core survival skills of the future.
Exactly. By cultivating these, you become the anti-algorithm.
I love that framing so much. You become the anti-algorithm. You become the person in the meeting who stops the frantic updates and asks, how are we all doing with this? That human check-in is becoming infinitely more valuable than just reading off a status report that an AI could have summarized anyway.
Definitely. The pushback we usually hear at this point, though, is deeply pragmatic.
The mortgage.
Yes.
Circle 4. What you can be paid for. Because being a healer of culture sounds wonderfully poetic, but the electric company doesn't accept poetry as payment.
They do not.
If we are stepping away from machine-like efficiency, how do we actually sustain this financially?
The author validates that fear completely, but she points out that the underlying mechanics of the economy are shifting right under our feet. For generations, we were compensated almost exclusively for execution.
Like, how many widgets did you produce on the assembly line?
Right. Or how many lines of code did you write today?
The economy of doing.
The economy of doing. But think about what happens when AI takes over the execution layer. The bottleneck is no longer how fast we can produce work.
Right, because AI is instant.
Exactly. A team can execute perfectly, but if they are executing on the wrong goal, or if the team burns out and quits, that speed is useless. Therefore, the source of human value shifts upward to wisdom and synthesis.
Wow.
We are moving to an economy of being. You will be paid for your ability to connect disparate dots. You will be paid to mentor junior staff because turnover costs companies millions.
So true.
You will be paid to discern why we are building something, not just figure out how to build it.
Okay, so when all 4 of these circles, love, good at, needs, paid overlap, you hit your ikigai. But Breeze Dong adds another layer right to the center of those circles.
Yes, a concept called bodhicitta.
Bodhicitta.
It translates to the awakened heart or mind. In the old orange model, our center was ego. How do I climb the ladder? How do I look good in front of the boss at the expense of my peers?
Right, you're very competitive.
Bodhicitta flips the script entirely. It asks, how can I use my unique flow to serve the whole system? It's a shift from extraction to generation.
I see.
And the book breaks this shift down into 3 noble principles: intention, non-duality, and dedication.
Wait, slow down. Let me challenge this real quick.
Sure.
Intention and dedication make sense, but non-duality. The book talks about co-evolving with colleagues and even the AI. That sounds incredibly abstract.
It does.
If I'm sitting in a sterile boardroom on a Wednesday morning trying to get a project approved, what does co-evolving actually look like in practice?
It's a very fair challenge.
Yeah.
In practice, non-duality means dropping the adversarial mindset. Instead of walking into that boardroom thinking, I need to beat my colleagues to get this promotion, or I need to work faster than the AI so it doesn't replace me.
Which is how we all think right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But instead, you view yourself as part of a single ecosystem. You aren't fighting the AI. You are managing it like an instrument. You and the technology, you and your colleagues, are a single system trying to solve a problem. It removes the friction of ego, which actually frees up massive amounts of cognitive energy.
So how do we physically make room for this kind of bodhicitta? Because it requires a lot of mental space to not be in that fight or flight mode.
The author brings us back to Okinawa for a concept called hara hachibu.
Hara hachibu.
In a dietary sense, it means fill your belly to only 80%.
Interesting.
They know that overfilling this system causes inflammation and damage. The text argues we need to apply this to our professional lives as career hara hachibu.
Because right now, we treat our calendars like a clown car.
Yes.
We just see how many meetings we can stuff inside until the doors literally burst off. We have been conditioned to think that exhausted equals productive. Like, if we aren't at 110% capacity, we are failing.
Which is incredibly destructive in this new paradigm. The author invites you to aim for 80% capacity. Intentionally leave 20% of your day as white space.
But people panic at white space.
They do, but you have to understand the mechanism here. That space is not empty. That space is where integration actually happens. It is where your creativity breathes.
Right.
If your brain is stuffed to the brim with rote tasks and back-to-back calls, there's no room for those vital teal insights to emerge. You are too full of noise to hear the signal.
A crowded calendar leaves no space for the soul. But stepping into this leaving white space, trusting that we'll be valued for our being instead of our frantic doing, it requires a massive amount of vulnerability.
It really does.
It means letting go of the armor of perfection.
And that armor of perfection is exactly what the text addresses through the idea of wholeheartedness and the gifts of imperfection.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that demands we have it all figured out, but perfectionism is just a heavy shield we carry to avoid judgment.
And in an AI world, perfection is cheap.
Yes.
Machines can be flawless. They don't make typos. They don't stutter. They don't forget a data point. Therefore, perfection is no longer a differentiator for you.
Right.
What is incredibly rare is authenticity. Your messy human story, your quirks, your unique, imperfect perspective, that is your signature.
To ground all these theoretical concepts, the author shares a very real story about a woman named May.
I love this story.
It's so good. Imagine a quiet evening at a professional retreat in the mountains. The air is cool, bamboo is rustling, and there's a low fire burning in a fire pit.
And May is sitting there after everyone else has gone to bed. She's 38, a highly successful strategy director for a multinational corporation.
Very polished.
Super polished. She is known for these immaculate, bulletproof slide decks. But by the fire, she's wrapped in a shawl, her shoulders hunched, and she confesses to the author, "I don't know who I am without my job anymore."
Heartbreaking.
She says she used to feel a spark, but now her days are just the endless noise of Slack pings and late-night emails.
She was terrified of the transition we're talking about. She told the author she was scared AI was going to take the exact parts of her job she was good at, the data synthesis, the deck creation, and leave her with only the bureaucratic parts she secretly hated.
Right. And then she shares this deeply resonant memory of an elderly calligraphy master she once studied with. He taught her that the ink reveals the true state of your heart. When she was young, her strokes were alive. But now, she said, trying to work felt like pushing a heavy stone across a page.
And the mechanics of that make sense, right?
Right.
When AI removes the friction of physical execution, all that is left is the heavy cognitive load of constant decision-making, which exhausts the human brain in a totally different way.
Exactly. She said she missed what she called the soft drumbeat of her purpose.
That phrase, the soft drum beat, it perfectly captures the subtle current of flow. So sitting by the fire, they walked through the 4 circles of Ikigai to reclaim her path.
So what did they find?
When they looked at what she loved, it wasn't corporate strategy or spreadsheets. It was real, unvarnished conversations. It was writing reflective essays.
Okay, and for what she was good at, her true superpower wasn't just making executive decks, it was perception.
Right.
She was the one who noticed when a team member was silent on a call because they were afraid. She could sense the emotional weather of the room better than anyone.
Which AI absolutely cannot do. Then they moved to what the world needs. May realized her own team was fractured, burning out, performing at 120% capacity but feeling only 30% alive.
Wow.
She realized the world didn't need another flawless deck from her. The system needed healing from within.
And when they looked at what she could be paid for, they connected the dots. Because you wonder, how does she get paid for this? But companies are actually desperate to stop bleeding talent.
Exactly. Roles like culture shaper, narrative strategist, or psychological safety champion are emerging.
May realized that taking an hour to run a breathing circle for her team wasn't a distraction from her strategy job. It was an act of retention that kept her top performers from quitting.
Right. People are highly compensated to help humans thrive in systems designed for machines, because without the humans, the strategy fails anyway.
So true.
By the time the fire burned down, May had found her red thread. The red thread is a concept from mythology. the cord that guides you out of the labyrinth.
I love that.
In a career context, it is the core essence of your purpose that remains constant, even when your job title changes. Her red thread wasn't to execute strategy, it was to help people return to themselves.
And I love the result here. She didn't have some dramatic cinematic exit. She didn't flip her desk, quit her corporate job, and move to an ashram in Bali.
I know, yeah.
She just took one compassionate, localized step. She hosted one small circle for 3 people she trusted on her team for 1 hour, just to help them breathe and connect. She moved from proving her worth through execution to becoming who she was meant to be.
That is the essence of Right Livelihood 2.0. We do not find our place in the age of AI by trying to outcompete the machines at their own game. We find it by leaning completely into our irreplaceable, nuanced, imperfect humanity.
Let the machines process the data, you handle the depth.
Beautifully said.
To wrap up our deep dive today, the text offers a gentle, actionable step for you. It's called the napkin sketch. Tonight, grab a blank sheet of paper, pour a cup of tea, and just draw the 4 circles of Ikigai.
And don't judge yourself, just sketch.
Look at your specific skill set and ask, what makes you lose track of time? What is your human superpower, like the one your friends would immediately point out?
Right.
What breaks your heart that the world desperately needs fixed? And how might you combine those to help just one person tomorrow? Let the ink flow. Your future is waiting in the overlap.
It is a profound invitation to stop treating yourself like an algorithm waiting for the next set of instructions and start treating yourself like a human being ready to engage with the world.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over as you close out your day. We started by talking about that Tetris board calendar and the 3 a.m. fear of becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
But consider this. If AI can eventually mimic perfection in almost every transactional task, what if the absolute most valuable asset you bring to the boardroom tomorrow isn't your flawless execution,
Right.
but your willingness to admit what you don't know and your courage to look around the table and ask the room, how are we all really doing?
A question only a human can truly ask and truly answer.